The Frog Prince.
Once upon a time, in a quiet kingdom, Princess Clara spent her afternoons far from the loud castle halls. She preferred the whispering trees of the old garden. Her most prized possession was a golden ball, a gift from her late mother. Tossing it up brought her complete peace. One afternoon, she wandered too close to the old stone well. She threw the ball higher than usual. It slipped through her fingers, bounced off the mossy stones, and splashed deep into the dark water. Clara watched it sink. The one thing that made her feel safe was gone.
As she sat by the well and cried, a small voice suddenly echoed from the stones. A bright green frog hopped up to the edge, looking at her with big, curious eyes. He asked why she was crying. Clara explained she had lost her beautiful golden ball forever in the dark water. The frog made a simple promise. He would dive into the dark water and bring back her golden ball. But in return, she had to promise to let him be her companion. He wanted to eat from her golden plate and sleep on her silk pillow. Clara agreed quickly, thinking a frog could never leave the well. Without wasting a second, the frog dived deep into the cold water. A few moments later, he surfaced with the heavy golden ball resting on his small head. Clara was overjoyed. She snatched her precious treasure from the stone edge, holding it tightly. Her heart felt light again. Instead of thanking him, Clara turned around and ran. The little frog called out, reminding her of the promise she had made. But she did not stop. She rushed back to the castle, her muddy boots hitting the stone path, leaving the poor frog all alone by the old, quiet well. Later that evening, Clara sat down for dinner with her father, King Alden. The dining hall felt warm and safe, lit by a dozen glowing candles. She tried to eat from her golden plate and forget about the well. But just as she took a bite, a soft, wet, knocking sound echoed from the heavy oak doors. King Alden ordered the guards to open the heavy doors. To everyone's surprise, there was no knight or messenger, only a small, bright green frog sitting on the stone floor. The frog looked directly at Clara with his big brown eyes and politely reminded her of the promise she had made by the dark well. Clara confessed everything to her father, secretly hoping he would send the unusual creature away. But King Alden shook his head. He gently told her that a promise must always be kept, no matter how hard it might seem. With a heavy sigh, Clara walked to the door to welcome her new companion. Clara carefully placed the little frog next to her golden plate. He happily ate the rich food, but Clara had completely lost her appetite. She watched him with a mix of curiosity and slight annoyance. King Alden smiled gently from across the table, proud that his daughter was honoring her word. When dinner was finally over,
Clara wanted nothing more than to sleep. She stood up quickly, secretly hoping to leave the frog downstairs. But the small voice reminded her of the second part of their deal. He wanted to sleep on her soft silk pillow. Clara and began the long walk upstairs. Clara's room was warm and inviting, filled with thick blankets and glowing lanterns. She lifted the tired frog and placed him on her finest silk pillow. As she looked at him closely, she noticed he wasn't just a slimy creature. His big, expressive eyes held a strange, deep sadness. The next morning, Clara woke up to soft golden sunlight gently filling her quiet room. She looked over and saw the little frog sitting peacefully by the open window, watching the bright sunrise. For the first time, she did not feel annoyed. She realized he had kept his simple promise. Clara walked softly over to the stone window. She smiled and gently patted the frog's smooth green head, finally accepting him as her true friend. Suddenly, a warm, magical light surrounded the small creature. The soft glow grew brighter and brighter, swirling beautifully like golden dust in the morning air. When the glowing golden light finally faded, the little frog was completely gone. In his place stood a young, handsome boy with a warm, gentle smile. He introduced himself as Prince Felix. He calmly explained that a wicked spell had trapped him, and only true kindness could ever break it. Clara quickly changed into her elegant blue dress, eager to show her father what had happened. Together, she and Prince Felix walked down the grand stone staircase. Felix marveled at the castle, happy to be walking on 2 feet again. Clara could not stop smiling, amazed by the sudden magical turn of events. They found King Alden in the sunny dining hall. He was deeply shocked to see a strange boy instead of the little green frog. Clara eagerly explained how keeping her difficult promise had broken a terrible curse. The wise king smiled. He welcomed Prince Felix, proud that his daughter had learned the true value of kindness. Later that day, Clara and Felix walked back to the quiet courtyard garden. The old stone well no longer looked dark or scary. Clara held her precious golden ball, but she realized she had found something much more valuable. She had found a true friend who would always be by her side. As the weeks passed, Clara and Felix became completely inseparable. They spent their days exploring the vast castle grounds and their evenings sharing stories by the warm fire. Clara learned that true nobility was not about wearing heavy golden crowns, but about keeping your word and showing pure kindness to others. The quiet kingdom remained a place of peace and gentle magic for many years. Princess Clara never forgot the valuable lesson she learned by the dark water of the old stone well. And whenever she saw a small green frog in the garden, she would always smile, remembering the magical day she found her truest friend.